What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zcash today. It is the 10th day of November, and here we are sitting at about $625 right now. 11 hours and 3 minutes left in the day. You guys hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, here we are. Moving up, moving right on up, and I think it's important to look at this maybe from a long-term perspective as far as understanding where we're going to go. Okay, first and foremost, if we take our most discernible high to low kind of pivot here, you can see that we've not completely respected all these levels, but you can see here that we did find resistance right at the golden ratio, the 1618. We pulled back, found support at the 1414. Moved up here, found support kind of in this area, disrespected this zone to be completely fair. But we rallied all the way up here to the 2886, went right up there, found support at the golden ratio, the 2618, and now we're looking to push higher. Typically, in this kind of situation, I would not expect that we push past the 3113. I don't think that we get above $927. If we do, maybe like a small wick, maybe, but such negligible amounts that it's not really worth focusing on. This area 712 to 927, this is the area that we expect to top off at, and we have already interacted with this area. However, I think finding support at the 2618, the golden ratio here, validates the idea that we do come up a little bit higher, and with that, we might form some bearish divergence on our daily RSI. We do have bearish divergence at the moment, or do we have bearish divergence? Yes, on our weekly RSI, I think we do. Is that bearish divergence? Yes, it's a lower high. It's an oh so slightly lower high, but it is a lower high nonetheless. More of like a double top, but that is bearish divergence between this point here and this point here. So that would not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but that typically does call for a move back to where the divergence started, and you even go through it a little bit. That's down at $260, man. We're at $623. Are we gonna drop that much? Are we gonna drop that far? I don't know. That's a 65% drop, man. That's crazy stuff. But the thing is, you get crazy dumps like this in crypto, even in healthy bull markets, even whenever you continue to rally and go to higher prices, you can see a dump all the way down there, simply because you've pumped such a dramatic amount since August. You've pumped an over 21x, 21.5x. Even at that level, you're still up 7.5x. There's still a lot of people who'd be in the green even if we pulled down to that level, right? That's just what it's calling for. That doesn't mean that we have to go down there, but that's the weekly RSI. That's something to be considerate of over the coming weeks, over the coming days, right? Because likely we do top off this week. That's my expectation. I think this week here, right now, the one that we have 6 days, 12 hours left in, the one that we just started, it's more like 6 days, 11 hours left. You'll see it'll change here in the next minute. I think this will be the week that we top off, and we probably do close this week red, validating this bearish divergence and bringing us lower. That'd be my thoughts. If we close the week green, that's fine. Next week will just be the red week, but whatever. And I want to be clear, just because we have bearish divergence between these 2 points doesn't mean we have to go to $260. But typically, not only do you return to this level, but you would go through it again. And this is all based off of just the weekly bearish divergence there on the RSI. We do have weekly bearish divergence on the stochastics as well. Nothing on the MACD. Let's look at the short-term stuff. Or actually, let's continue this on the long term. Let's look at this real quick. From last cycle's high to the bear market low. Let's do this. This overall fib. This one will be a significant one as well. From a high to a low, we are finding resistance right now just below the 1272, but I think that's where we're going to inevitably top off at, is something right here. I think that we could wick a little bit above there, whatever, but that does fall in line pretty well with our target area between the 2886 and the 3113, $877 to $930, something like that. That's my expectation. That's where I think we're going to push to over the coming days, probably by the end of this week, and then we'll come back down. Maybe the week doesn't close red, but it should close with a wick to the upside, if I'm not mistaken. We should hit that level, and then we'll probably pull back down to levels that are around 700 or lower by the end of the week. That's my expectation at the moment. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, zooming in now. Okay, there's a lot of congruence, a lot of things lining up. I don't know why it won't show with this $900 area, give or take $50 in either direction, right? If we look at this on a 1 hour time frame, the RSI is putting in lower lows. Okay, we have lower lows here, low, lower low, while providing low, higher lows in the price. That is hidden bullish divergence. Is typically a good thing, not a bad thing. Okay, stochastics are reset. They're all the way down here at the oversold zone, ready to move up. I think you will. MACD is bullish overall. cool. You're building bearish momentum like you haven't seen really throughout this whole run, and yet you're just doing a minor pullback with a higher low. I think that's bullish in itself too. It's like hidden bullish divergence in itself. 4-hour time frame looking at this. Very, very nice RSI overall, bouncing at the same area here that you've been bouncing from over the past few days, over the past weeks. Looking like you want to get overbought. Stochastics look good. The MACD overall is good. We're getting a little bit tied up here, but we'll see how it goes over the next 3 hours. We probably do pull up a little bit. That'd be my expectation. Overall, I'm not seeing anything to really be concerned with here. The thought is, again, that we will from here see a slightly higher high, right, between these 2 points. You'll get that higher high. You'll get a lower high in your RSI, and you'll have some bearish divergence there. And not only that, you'll probably have bearish divergence on your daily RSI as well with that. That's what we're looking for, is that over the coming days you'll get some bearish divergence with a slightly higher high. You might even wick, right? So these levels on the RSI, they're formed by closing prices. So this high here, it corresponds with the closing price of this day, not the wick of this day, right? It's not the wicking high, it's the closing high. So we could tomorrow, the next day, whenever it is that we put our top in, we could run all the way up to $960, but close back down to 813, whatever, give us that bearish divergence, and then top off, right? That's kind of what I would expect, is that we top off with a wick to the upside and some bearish divergence. Stochastics are suggesting that we might be coming down, right? Getting out of the overbought zone is not necessarily good, but the last few times that we've gotten out of the overbought zone, we've reset and then we continue to rally. We're just consolidating here before the next move up is what I think. Giving some time on the MACD to kind of chill as well, maybe form some bearish divergence there as well. If it's not, I mean, if we just consolidated over the coming days and then by the end of the week we pushed higher, maybe it is next week that we have this high. Maybe it is. But I still believe that we're going to see prices top off somewhere above 800, yet below 930. I'm thinking 880 to 930, somewhere in that area, 877, 930, whatever. That's the target area overall. Whenever it comes to end of cycle predictions for Zcash, first and foremost, you've gone through a massive rally, okay? First off, since July, from the low to the high, you've seen a 47x, and we're thinking that you're going to progress to something on the lines of like a 54x, 55x, okay? So that's a lot. That's a lot in itself. You're going to top off at this area here. You're already there right now. Likely what happens after this massive run up is that you will consolidate for anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, okay? Let's imagine that this week is the week that you top off, and so you start consolidating. 4 weeks from now would be the beginning of December. 8 weeks from now, and we're in 2026. It's very possible that Zcash, between now and the end of the year, after it tops off, that it doesn't rally. We'll see the rest of the markets rally. The rest of crypto is probably going to rally, but it's okay if Zcash consolidates here because, again, you've been running for quite a while. You might see a month-long or a multi-month-long consolidation phase before you press higher, but I do think you will press higher. And in 2026, maybe even before then, you should be pushing on to prices that are all the way up at $2,500, $2,600 to $10,000. That's the target area that we have in mind by the end of the cycle. I know there's a lot of people out there telling you Zcash is going to go to 30K, it's going to go to 125K, whatever, it's going to do what Bitcoin did. But that's probably not going to happen all at once, right? Probably not all in one cycle. I mean, from a low here in July, just moving up to 2,600 in itself, that's a 162x. Moving up to the golden ratio itself is about a 628x. I highly doubt that we get above 10K. I'm personally not even expecting that we get to 10K, but I do expect that we will see a $5,000 price. I mean, that in itself is still a 300x, which is insane, right? Insane. July to what will likely be not even July of 2026, we will see a 300x. So in less than a year, 300x, I think that that's more than adequate, more than acceptable. 2,500 is fine as well. But something else to think about is not just the overall growth, right, from the low to the high. Not just the overall growth, but what kind of growth do we see in this finale phase, right? Because Zcash is pumped ahead of the markets. I think whenever Zcash consolidates, we're going to see the rest of the market really start to rally, and the alt season will come alive. Zcash will probably be chilling while this happens. Typically, in the alt season finale, I mean, I would expect something more than a 4x move or more than a 7x move even, right? might it make sense for Zcash for its altcoin cycle finale finish to pull like a 15x if you were to stop, or maybe not a 15x, right? Because you're probably not going to stop here, but like a what would be like an 11x move if we top off at $877. That makes sense to me. So something really between 5K to 10K is what I would think by the end of the cycle. Anything and everything can happen. Of course, 2,500, 2,600 is the minimum target. 10K is the maximum target. I'm sticking with my 5K prediction. We'll see how it goes. I got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, take care of yourselves. Bye bye.